Hi, my name is Zippi. I'm a registered nurse and a certified food addiction counselor, and this is my weekly live straight to you from Israel. I want to talk today about how optimism can kill. Yes, I'm a very optimistic woman, and I always have been. That's part of my personality is always to look at the, half full glass and to see even how any loss or crisis or even the painful things in life have something important to teach me. I always know that. But there is a certain type of optimism that can actually kill. And that is that optimism that I'm not going to change today, but I know that that day will come. Well, I will make an important change in my life because it needs to be done because something's causing me harm. I want to talk about the people who call me to find out about my program or my workshops and tell me that they're addicted to sugar and they need to lose weight or they have diabetes or fatty liver or lipidemia, like, high fats in their blood, and they're in danger of becoming ill from it. And of course, diabetes has terrible complications. Or sometimes they just share with me that they feel like food controls their life and they want to feel in control of what they eat and not that food will control them. And I explained to them that it's not their fault, that sugar is addictive and those sweet, starchy, hyper-processed foods are as addictive as cigarettes, as addictive as alcohol, drugs, gambling, pornography, you name it. It's the same thing. Addiction is addiction. And the way to recover from addiction is to abstain from the substances or the behaviors that are triggering your addiction. And then I talk about abstinence from sugary, starchy, hyper-processed foods. And then the excuses begin. They understand and they agree, but I don't think I can do it. It's too expensive. I don't have the time right now because my job, my parents, my kids. I really want to do it, but it's not the right time now. But maybe after Passover, like after the holidays, I'll call you back. I have to think about it. And all these excuses, these 1,001 excuses come up. And then I have people who, again, know what they need to do in order to get off the sugar and starchy foods. And they say, I know what I need to do, but right now I'm not doing it. But I know that the time will come where I will get to do it, right? That time will come. It's like this inherent belief that what today, no, but tomorrow, someday tomorrow, in some imaginative future, I know I have that optimistic belief that I will be able to take myself in hand and, do what's necessary and start eating right and start losing weight and start eating, and stop eating sugar because I'm diabetic. And that day never comes because it's always tomorrow. That day never comes because that right time is never going to get here. There's always going to be excellent reasons why you shouldn't start. But here's the good news. The good news is that the good and that day can be today. It can be today, not by wanting it to come, but by taking actions that make it come. We can't want ourselves into recovery from any addiction, including sugar addiction. We can't want ourselves into a healthy body and a free mind from food. We can't want ourselves into healthy eating habits. It has to be action to get to that place. And here's the part that's like the bummer part of it. At the beginning, it's really hard. At the beginning, our brain is wired in such a way that sometimes it even feels like a survival issue. Like, how can I live without that piece of cake on Shabbos? How can I live without the desserts? How can I live without sugar? How will I be a part of social things? How can I live without going to a pub with my friends for a drink? How can I live without that cigarette after the meal? Right? It's all the same, and it really feels like it's a matter of survival. But if we ignore those voices in our head and do it anyway, at the beginning it takes a big effort. And at the beginning it's hard. But for a very short period of time, usually after about a week or 10 days, it becomes not so hard. And what I've read in this wonderful book called Happy Habits, Habits of a Happy Brain, is if you do it for 45 days consecutively without stopping, then it becomes easy. It becomes a new habit, and it becomes a real way of eating or drinking. So I want to make a couple of practical suggestions for those of you who may be watching this. If you happen to be addicted to sugar, I'm going to challenge you for 45 days not to eat any added sugar or white flour, because white flour is sugar. At the beginning, it'll seem like mission impossible, but do it anyway. For one day at a time, but for 45 days. Each day, just concentrate on that day. Not eating white sugar, not eating added sugar or white flour, and see what happens. If you do this, even though it's uncomfortable, even though it takes you out of your comfort zone, even though it's hard, after about a week or 10 days, you'll see it's not as hard as it was at first. After about a month, you'll start enjoying it, because what'll happen is your taste buds become accustomed to the natural sweetness in natural foods. You start losing weight without being hungry. As a matter of fact, you become a lot less hungry maybe than you were before after about a month. And what happens is the craving for sugar goes down. And if this sounds like something you'd like to do, but it's too hard to do it yourself, well, there's professionals like me, and I have many colleagues as well, and groups on Facebook, and lots of support places where you can detox from sugar with professional help or with peer-to-peer help, like in a 12-step group. But if you really do it, if you do the actions, even if those actions are imperfect, if you do those actions one day at a time, you will see that what happens is with the success, you want even more. And then you can even move on from there. So even sometimes people say, okay, sugar, white flour altogether, that's impossible. Start somewhere else. Maybe if you're addicted to soda and juices and sugary drinks, that's the place to start. 45 days, no drinks except water and soda and non-sweetened or not non-sweetened natural flavoring that you put yourself, like cinnamon sticks in your water or a slice of lemon or lime in a soda and things like that for 45 days. Don't change anything else, just that. And maybe you will see at the end of 45 days that if you thought you couldn't live without that, Diet Coke or that orange juice in the morning, you will realize that you really don't need sweet drinks in your life anymore. Or here's another challenge I can give you. How about coffee? That cup of coffee with the little something on the side. The truth is, in the 40s, it was a cigarette. Now it's a cookie. That is not by chance, and that is not by coincidence. Okay? The food industry has really addicted us to that cookie with the cup of coffee. Because if you go and get a cup of coffee anywhere, in any coffee house, they will put a cookie near it. And then you'll eat it. And then, wow, that's nice. So then every time you have a cup of coffee, you have to have a cookie with it. So how about maybe would you like to get free from this habit of having to have something sweet with your coffee or any snack with your coffee? Maybe challenge yourself to 45 days of drinking just coffee and eating food, but not together. And you just may realize that, wow, after like 45 days of doing this consecutively, not forever, for 45 days, you will realize that you don't need that cookie. And think about how many packages of cookies you've saved yourself in a lifetime if you get free from that terrible, damaging habit. So you see that on the one hand, optimism can kill. If there's no action that comes together with that optimistic saying of, well, one day it's going to be better. That one day can start today. It starts today with actions, which even whether it be the smallest action or a big significant action, which will take you out of your comfort zone. Something you haven't done yet that will take you out of your comfort zone, but if you do it consistently for 45 days, you will find that you are moving in that direction, because the good that you're waiting for and you're wanting so badly but not doing anything about, if you start doing something, even the smallest thing about it, that day will come much, much sooner. So if you like this message, please like this video, share it. If you're watching it on my YouTube channel, subscribe to my channel and you will get my weekly live every week. You will know when new videos come out. So I want to wish everybody a happy Sunday. Have a great week. And I love you guys. Bye-bye.